Well, hello and welcome to the channel. Today you join me on probably one of the calmest days I've known. Now we are in mid-February and it is rather cold, hence why the coat. Even though the sun's shining on my face and I've got this glorious light, it is absolutely, bitter out. It's currently about 4 degrees and even though the sky is as blue as it can be with just a nice little touch of cloud, it's still very cold. So my intention today was go to New Brighton. After a couple of fails, I've not landed there. I've actually ended up in a place called Wig Island. I've done a couple of vlogs from here, so apologies if you've seen it all before, but there will be something different, I promise you. But all that said, I should be able to get the same type of image here than I was going to try and get in New Brighton. So fingers crossed this works. So the image I want to get is 2 or 3 images all blended together to combine one sort of sections of each of the day. So what I'm going to do is focus just before golden hour, sort of round about 3 o'clock. Take the same image again round about 4:30, and then round about 5:30 I'll take the last image, which will be a nighttime image. Let's combine them all together and sort of have 3 images just sort of blended into one. See what it looks like. In theory, it sounds quite basic and quite easy to do. In theory. However, I've never actually done it, and it's all about patience. So I'm going to have to stand in the same location for, an hour and a half, 2 hours to try and get these 3 shots. Not touch the camera apart from actually just pressing the shutter, and just basically leaving everything alone, not touching anything, not changing my composition or anything for 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. For those of you who know me, you know I'm not that patient. What I'm going to do in the meantime though, as soon as we've got this still water at high tide at the moment, we've got a load of still water. I'm just going to focus on a few images, get some of the reflections in the water. We're getting a couple of ripples in the water, but I don't think it's really going to cause that much of an issue to the image. And we've got this beautiful sky in the distance as well, and just sort of see what I can get tonight. I'm going to take a few images now. I'll put a few on screen. See you in a minute. I just can't get over how calm it is here. There's hardly any noise. There's a little bit of traffic on the bridge, which you can just hear the hum of the tyres going over the bridge, but that's about it. There's no wind, there's nothing. There's a couple of geese in the back as well, but in the background. But apart from that, there's absolutely nothing. It's just glorious here this morning. Cold, sunny, but glorious. So with this calmness, I'm just focusing on trying to get some of the reflections in the water. The new bridge further behind you guys has got the 3 towers, the 3 struts, and the reflections in the water are so dominant. And then we've got Fiddler's Ferry Power Station right in the distance as well. So just trying to focus on the reflections of the water while it's so calm. I believe the tide's actually starting to go out now. So since I've been here, the sort of 15-20 minutes I've been here, I've noticed a bit of a drop in the water level. So we can work around that once it starts to drop down fully. But for now, while it's so calm, I'm just going to take some of these images and see what I get. Oh, it's just beautiful. So as you can probably tell with the rush of that water, don't think it's going to be long until the water starts to really get churned up. The tide is on its way out now, and yeah, already we're starting to get quite a bit of movement in that water. One of the issues about here is it's very powerful. The tide is very, very strong. So it's sort of almost two channels. The center is almost completely silted up now. So you get two channels of real concentrated water pushing back into. So it does fill up quite quickly and also empties out quite quickly as well. But the bonus of when it's empty is actually remains of an old barge, an old wooden barge in the center of this first lane here. And what that is, it's over 100 years old. It's wooden struts that are sticking out almost like a skeleton of the boat, and sometimes that's quite interesting to get as a foreground interest with the new bridge, the new gateway bridge in the distance. I say it's new, it's the best part of 8 years old now. So I'm just heading over now to where I'm going to set up this evening, and yeah, try and keep a little bit patient. I know what I tend to do. I'll look at a composition, work it, and think, yeah, that will do. 5 minutes later, want to move. I'm not going to be able to do that tonight. I'm going to have to sort of stay put, take the image, take the second image, then take the third image, and yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for me, but I'm sure I'll be able to get through it. So I've just got to location now, or where I thought the location was going to be, and I've changed my mind. And the reason for it, there is a valid reason for me changing my mind. Now, the shot I'm trying to go for is the bridge in the background. So I was looking to get a sort of day shot leading into nighttime shot. Now, the great thing with this bridge is it gets lit up, different colours of a nighttime, different themes. Now, the idea was to get these sort of 3 shots and sort of blend them together. But the composition I've got here just isn't good enough. It's not going to work. It's fantastic for a portrait style image, but for a landscape, which is what I think what you need for this type of image, it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to trek back down to where I was. I'm going to just work this location, just try and get a couple of shots, just make sure that I'm right, because I think the shots back there, although quite good, they're a little bit mundane. What that is, a little bit mundane, but here I was hoping to get something a little different. Now, you used to be able to get across and sort of nearer towards where the Mersey was and sort of shoot up and walk around that location. There's quite big fencing down there now, so obviously they don't want people there, so I'm not going to, you know, break boundaries and stuff and yeah, sort of break rules. So I'm going to stay up here, take a couple of shots, and then head back down to where I was, where I parked the car, and yeah, see what else I can get. I was also looking as well, so in the background there you've got the Fiddler's Ferry. I was wondering whether I could do it with that, and I could, but that wasn't the intention for today. It was to do the bridge, or the original intention was to do New Brighton, but yeah, that went out the window. But yeah, I'm going to head back down to where the car is and shoot from there. Once I've got a couple of sort of nicey shots from here, and yeah, a bit of a shame, but as soon as I got here I thought maybe it's not right. I'll work it anyway, see what I can get, but I'll probably end up moving back down. Catch you in a bit. So I've actually managed to come round. Where I stood before, if you walk down a little bit to the left hand side, there's a bit of a path that comes around anyway. So I've not got to go through any fences. So yeah, ended up here, and here I am. I found a bit of a puddle. I say a puddle, it's a bit of a small lake, but what it's doing, it's acting for reflections for me. So I'm managing to get quite good reflections of the bridge in the water with the clouds as well. So I've taken a couple of shots of those, so we'll see what they're like now. still don't think I'm going to stay here though for the final shot. The bridge sort of goes too straight, too much in a line. I need it more of an angle so I can see the almost the three pyramids a little bit more detail, so you'll be able to separate the shot a lot more. So I think I'm going to take a couple of more shots here, head back, and yeah, go back to my original position and work it from there. I just don't think it's going to work here, which is a shame, because with the reflection you kind of get a double bubble. I don't know, it's sort of question time. Every time I go to leave, I'm thinking, no, I should really stay. I really should stay and try and work it a bit more, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'll come to a decision, I'll come back to you. Right, I've decided to head back. I'm kind of pushing myself for time here, but I think it's probably better to head back to where I was. So I'm just trying to look where I'm walking. There's loads of sort of little ruts that go into a little stream. I don't fancy getting wet feet. So yeah, I'm going to head back to where I was and set up there. Final answer, and we'll see what we can get. Catch you in a mo. So I've now set up base. I've had quite a bit of an unglamorous start back from where I was. I was right the way over there, and it's quite hilly up and down and cross country and everything. So I've actually settled for this location now, and I've just taken the first image. As we're fast approaching 3:30, we're fast approaching golden hour. So I just wanted to make sure I got an almost daylight shot. Then I'm going to take another one deep into the middle of golden hour, and then I might do another one, might do one as soon as it hit blue hour, and then once it gets dark, and sort of just blend the four images together and just sort of see. I've never done this before, so I'm sort of learning it as I go along, sort of thinking what should my settings be, what have I got to do, and yeah, I think basically I've got to keep the camera completely still, keep the settings on the focus, keep the focus point exactly the same, keep the focal length exactly the same, and just change the settings. Now I'm going to keep it around about f8. Well, I think it's on it's on f8 now. So the first shot I've done is ISO 64, f8, 250th of a second at I think it's 24 mil. I've got the 70-24 on. I was debating whether to put the 14 to 24 on, but it's a bit too wide, and I'm having a couple of issues with that lens. I'm not sure what it is. I'm gonna have to take it in and get someone to have a look at it, because it's missing focus. It's doing all sorts of crazy things. So yeah, I'm probably better using the 24 to 70 for this shot. It's more reliable. So I'm going to settle in now, taking a couple of these images, and yeah, just basically keep the tripod exactly where it is, not move any of the settings, and yeah, get ready for shot number 2. This really is just a waiting game. I've been here now, best part of 45 minutes, waiting for it to go darker, really. The only thing I can see that's changed is the sunlight is now no longer on the bridge. It's got a little bit darker in the foreground, but that's about it. It's funny how slowly it takes when you're actually waiting for it. So it is just a case of killing time. So I've just been sat around here, just sort of trying to kill time as much as I can. I've just gone over to the Manchester Ship Canal. So we've got the Mersey here, and then just over this side, just over the little peak there, is the Manchester Ship Canal that runs adjacent all the way through. And it does actually join up further on, but much further on. But yeah, I've just seen a dredger coming through the Manchester Ship Canal. I could see the swing bridge behind you guys now spinning around, so I've just sort of taken some video of that as I've just been waiting, really. But yeah, I've got to be careful not to move the camera, not to move the tripod, keep the settings pretty much the same, and yeah, just be patient, really. I think this is what today's all about. It's about being patient, just trying to get this one shot, and it's quite strange. It's going to take me, I think the total range of what I need on this image is probably going to take about between 2.5 hours to actually take. So yeah, 2.5 hours for one image Is it worth it? I guess we'll have a look at the end and see whether it is. Hopefully it's turned out okay. Like I say, I've never done this before. It's a real sort of unique type of photography, and yeah, fingers crossed it all comes together. Who knows? We'll check it in a bit. Anyway, I'm going to continue doing nothing, so I'll see you then. Still doing nothing. So I've just been having a bit of a conversation with myself. Yes, I'm actually that bored. And I'm wondering whether we need cloud in this image, whether a good sunset would actually pay off or actually it would take away from this. And I think if you have a clearer sky, it's probably better. It would probably look better in post once I start to try and blend these 3 to 4 images across. Yeah, that's kind of my theory. And I was a little bit disappointed. I was hoping for quite a good sunset, but I don't think I'm going to get it tonight. And yeah, that's probably a bonus. So yeah, I don't know, just a thought. Anyway, back to doing nothing. So I've just taken another image now. Settings are pretty much still the same. I've still got it on 24mm, ISO 64, f8. But the shutter speed now has gone to 1/30th of a second. I think it was a 1/200th of a second on the previous image. So yeah, it's starting to come down. I think that's the way I'm going to try and work it. Try and keep the shutter speed. The only thing I'm going to change. I may have to boost the ISO up, depending on how dark it gets. But with this bridge, we do have lights on it. Once it starts to get dark, the bridge is all lit up. So what I don't want to do is do too much of a long exposure and have those lights blown out. I just don't think that'll look right. So it's all about making sure that the bridge is lit up perfectly, even when it's dark. So I want to try and keep the long exposure as down as possible, so it may remain an ISO 64. We'll know soon enough. I've just had a terrible thought. That sky, if I would have gone to New Brighton tonight, that would have been over the city. Oh, never mind, eh? So as you can probably tell, I'm really starting to run out of light now. I'm not sure whether the phone will pick everything up. It's getting quite dark. The sun set probably about 10 minutes ago, 10-15 minutes ago. We've got the lights on the bridge in the distance, and yes, they are purple. So yeah, we'll make the most of this while we can. So I'm going to continue taking the next couple of shots. So I guess I'll rejoin you back at home tomorrow morning. I think I'm going to go home, get some tea, have a bit of a relax, and yeah, rejoin you tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then. Cheers. So I made it home. I threw the images on the computer, started processing them, realised I was extremely cold, jumped in the bath. Sarah had kindly made me my tea, came down and completely forgot about them until first thing this morning. So I've just spent a couple of hours just processing them, having a bit of a play, seeing what works best. And I've managed to come up with 2 styles, which I'll show at the end of the video. The first one, where I've softly blended the images all together, and I actually ended up using 4 of those images. I've done it again with just 2 of the images, which seems to work well as well. And for the last image, I've just cut them, almost like layering a cake. So for the final image, I ended up taking 10 shots over the course of, well, it was actually 3.5 hours I stood there. Boy, was it cold. And I'm so glad I did, because I've now got a choice of which ones work best. So if you're going to try and do this image, I would certainly recommend doing as many images as you can. The more, the merrier. So I guess it's time for you to see the final results. I'll put the images up on the end. Let me know what you think. I may do a video on how to process this and actually how to stitch them together in Photoshop. If you find that useful, let me know in the comments. But I guess it's time to say goodbye. So from Warrington today, Wig Island yesterday, take care, all the best. Next video out very, very soon. Bye-bye now. Boo!